Hi everybody. So today I'm going to demonstrate the fourth practical operation, which is the second setup for your practical operation for State Board. You've already done your first client, which was the thermal curl and the haircut. And now in the 15-minute setup, you're going to break down everything from your first client, dispose of everything that you need to, and then you have your next supplies that you are going to lay out for your chemical client. And then also after that will be the facial, and the acrylic nail is not on the doll head, but anyway, those will be the last ones. So when you do have the work area new client set up, they want to make sure that you break down and dispose of all your different things. You'll set up the universal supplies you need for the remainder of your examination. You're going to be setting up your chemical wave, predisposition test, highlight with foil, hair color retouch, chemical virgin hair relaxer, and the PD test, and you will also be doing a blood exposure during some of those things. Not a real blood exposure, but demonstrating with your kit. So they're going to be looking to make sure that you've disinfected your surfaces and that you are sanitizing your hands. Everything's labeled in English, and that your disinfectant, soiled linens, and garbage bags are at your disposal down here. You will have 15 minutes and then 8 minutes remaining that will remind you. And then once you're done, you're just going to step back and wait for the next instruction, which will be the permanent wave. So I am going to begin. Just going to sanitize my hands. I'm going to break down this client's drape and towel because she is becoming a different person for a chemical service. So I am going to put my soiled linens in here. My clippies. If you don't touch the garbage, you don't need to re-sanitize, but for purposes of making sure that they know that you are nice and sanitary, you can do it as often as you want. Make sure to get your wrists in between your fingers. You're getting rid of all of these clips too, because you have a whole new setup of supplies. So at this time, I am going to get some towel out, close this, re-sanitize just to be sure. I am going to disinfect my work area. When I take any lids off, I'll put them back after. So this is considered your little booklet. So I'm going to wipe underneath the booklet. I'm going to wipe around the edges of the table. Disinfect underneath surfaces. Under the water. Around here underneath my table setup. Anytime you need more towels, you can go in. These are my clean supplies that were on a clean table, so I don't need to get those. I'm going to go over here though anyway and just kind of do this for good measure, making sure if any bacteria got on the second one, just kind of go under here just to be good. The facial and the nail will be done later. You can go ahead and leave those out. You go ahead and put this away. Now all your universal supplies will stay out, your disinfectant, your hand sanitizer, your blood exposure, and your water bottle. So this looks like a big bag of things, but it'll all look nice and organized once you get it all set up. I like to use a sanitary maintenance area, even though you don't need to, because you have disinfected your surface. This will be the perm. I'm going to want to have that right away. The color I'm going to put over here. Before I even set up my whole chemical area, I'm going to drape my client. Sanitize whenever you want. This will be a double drape because it is a chemical service. So we have 2 towels. Once again, I like to fold this over because it seems to be a little more stable underneath the drape. The doll hair is a little shorter now, so you might be able to get away with not clipping it up. We have cut it to 5 inches now after the state board haircut. And take your drape. If you don't have a drape at home when you're practicing, just remember all of the things that for when you do drape the client, you have to show client protection. You need to make sure that the barrier from the skin and the drape is showing at all times. And so we have 1 towel underneath, and then we're going to have 1 more towel here for the chemical services that goes over. And that you'll use a clip. At least I like to do it that way. There's many different ways you can do this for client protection. This seems to hold up pretty well so that it's not sliding or anything, and you don't want your drape to slide. If it does, just fix it. Okay, so now I'm going to get out the perm. You'll have your simulated perm solution that's filled up with water. You'll have your gloves. You have your cotton. You have your protective cream. A couple combs just in case maybe one drops. Some clips to section. And 8 to 10 rollers. I like to kind of lay them out neatly so it's easy for me to grab them as I go, and have the little hooks unhooked so it's easy to get to. And then you have your perm paper. You can do any type of wrap. You can do single, double, book wrap, whatever one works for you. I've always liked the double because I feel like it straightens out the hair nice and neatly so that there won't be any fish hooks. But it's up to you. Garbage. There's a lot of extra clips here. Clips everywhere. A brush if you need it. I don't think I'm going to need this towel right now. I'm going to put this in some Universal Supplies. You have your simulated relaxer, more gloves, comb, protective cream, and a brush. So if you're practicing this and you want to look for some supplies to use. And you will have the simulated product. It's going to be the same simulated product, but it's supposed to be different in each one. So for instance, this is the chemical relaxer. There we have the tint and the lightener. So you'll be using all these separately. Something did just drop, so I am going to pick it up with a tissue, throw it in my garbage, and sanitize. If you drop something, you need to pick it up right away and take care of it because you'll be marked down the whole time something's on the floor, okay? So we have our gloves, have a little Q-tip and spatula for for anything you need for your patch test or predisposition test. Lots of protective cream. Comb. You can set these combs on your table because they are, it's a clean surface right now. This Q-tip I'm going to leave in a bag just because that's what I'm going to be doing my predisposition test on later, and I want it to stay sanitary and disinfected in the bag until I need it. Set that off to the side. There's also foils for the highlight section. So at this time, what you've done in the next 15-minute setup was break down your last client, dispose and soiled linens, garbage, and things to be disinfected, and then clean your surface, and then bring out your new setup, your doll draping, because it's a double drape, and set up all the chemicals. So you've got your perm that is going to be next. And I do believe after the perm operation, you have a break at State Board, and then you come back, and then you'll be doing the all the color and the chemicals on the doll head. So after you're done setting up, and you feel like everything's as organized as you want it, you know, maybe have your combs all in one spot, and have your brushes in one spot, and all your simulated products together here. Then you're gonna do one more sanitize, and then you'll step back and wait for the proctor to come over.